My name's Kay, and I'm invested in all things internet, and that includes stan culture. Let's talk about it. Personally, I've never been roped into stan culture. Being an introverted kid who didn't spend a whole lot of time on the internet or in fandoms spared me from living within the throngs of obsessed fan bases. Because of this, I feel like my definition of stan is different from everyone else's. I use the word stan to mean a dedicated member of the fandom, one step above a casual fan, but not to the point of crazed stalking of a celebrity. I understand that this is not how everyone uses this term, and when others refer to stans, they refer to a part of the fan base that crosses boundaries, is highly aggressive, and overall toxic. As we continue through this video, it's important to know that there is this divide among people when agreeing on the definition of stan, and that the widely accepted definition of stan is an overzealous or obsessed fan. Stan is a fairly new terminology when discussing it historically. A lot of the internet believes it was coined by Eminem in 2000 when he released his song Stan, which is about a crazed fan. The term gaining a mainstream meaning of overzealous or obsessed fan was accidental, and whether you believe this or not is up to the viewer interpretation. But regardless of which way you lean in your interpretation, I don't think anyone can argue that stans have recently gained a lot of discourse. The discourse I'm referring to is a rise in criticism of stan culture. Before I get into the current criticism and overall disdain for stans, let's take a look back in the past. Even though stan has only recently become a coined term, people have been stans for centuries. Stans are simply fans who are dedicated, sometimes to an outrageous or an obsessive level, to a person or piece of work. My favorite example is the Beatles. The Beatles were a British rock band that peaked in popularity around the 1960s, and whose prominent fan base was primarily made up of women, screaming women. Stans the band who were very loyal to the members. While these women undoubtedly helped drive sales of the Beatles' albums and tours, they were criticized for their interest in unwavering loyalty. They were mocked and made fun of, and in Philip Norman's book Shout! The Beatles and Their Generation, an anonymous psychologist chalked the screaming women up to women preparing for motherhood, rehearsing for that day. Very sexist. While I brought the Beatles up to show how the criticism of stans has always been around, sometimes just lurking in the shadows, I also want to highlight an issue that carries over from the criticism of Beatles stans to the criticism of current day stans: misogyny. A majority of outspoken stans are women. We will use the Dream SMP as an example for the umpteenth time. If you're in the Dream SMP fandom and you scroll through TikTok, how many women do you see making videos about the creators of the Dream SMP? How many men? Personally, I've only found a handful of men who outwardly make as much content about the Dream SMP as women do. Does this mean that there aren't men Dream SMP fans? No. Men are definitely in the fandom and belong in the fandom because they have a right to enjoy and make content on whatever they want. But outsiders don't see these men. All they see is a horde of females metaphorically screaming over these creators. And just like the women who were loyal to the Beatles, those who are loyal to the Dream SMP are laughed at and ridiculed. You can apply this logic to anything girls find interesting. There's been an ongoing discussion for years about how women can't like video games because they're begging for male attention, or because women playing video games somehow lessens male enjoyment of them, because now the hobby cannot be exclusively seen as masculine. A good counterexample to this is Ninja stans. They aren't criticized to the degree that Dream SMP fans are, because his fanbase is largely male. They aren't criticized even though Ninja preaches not playing video games with women. I feel like that should be criticized more than women drawing two content creators making out. So we can clearly see that some of the criticism of stans is deeply rooted in misogyny, and there is not too much that can be fixed without fixing a larger issue among people today. But not all criticism of stans is rooted in misogyny, and there are a few genuine arguments against stan culture. Like with any organized group of individuals, there will always be extremists. For stans, this entails toxic behavior towards other fans and towards the person they are idolizing. Doxing is a specific example of a very real and very harmful act that occurs within stan culture, especially surrounding internet celebrities. Doxing is leaking a person's private information such as their address, legal name, social security, or any other sensitive information that the individual has not personally shared online. It can lead to real-life consequences, such as masses of people showing up to the doxed person's house, or serious cases of stalking. This is often done in retaliation against anyone who is critical of the person that stans idolize. Sometimes, it could even be against the idolized person if they act in a way that stans find not appealing. Another criticism of stan culture is the toxicity that it creates within a fandom. Because stans are often overly obsessed, they can be very defensive over their idol, often lashing out at those outside or within the fan base. This can start infighting within the community and lead to a harsh environment where people can no longer enjoy the content that is being produced by the idol or other fans. Despite all these negative attributes of stans, there are positives of them being in the community. Fandoms are made up of many different types of fans, but to make it simple, I'll break it down into two different categories: fans and stans. Fans are like me, in the fandom, but not too bothered to share any media regarding it or create art or fanfiction. We're silent, but supportive. Stans are those who are loudly and proudly sharing content, stating their opinions on videos, commenting, subscribing, liking videos, and liking tweets. They create fan art and fanfiction proudly and represent their fandom. In my personal experience, you can't grow a community with just fans. If you don't have anyone to circulate your content to the rest of the internet, growth online will be slow. This is the reason stans are essential to fandoms. Despite the toxicity that they can bring, they also entice others to check out and grow the fandom. So while stans may be a toxic part of the community, they're essential for growth on any internet platform. This was my short take in historical introspection on stans. Definitely let me know what you guys think in the comments, because I feel like I have a very different view of stans than a lot of other people, especially on Twitter. But my views from people on Twitter.com are usually very different. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you so much, as always, for supporting, listening, liking, subscribing. And if you like more, definitely go check out some more videos that are in these end credits right here. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye!